January 17, 1893. A handful of American businessmen, 162 United States Marines, and the illegal overthrow that changed everything. Welcome back to Arthur Lee's Adventures. I'm Arthur Lee, and working summers in the Aleutians, we were practically neighbors with Hawaii. The Pacific connects us. You know, I thought I knew Hawaii's story. Beautiful islands, Pearl Harbor, statehood. But the more I dug into the real history, the more I realized how much we've never been told. Today, I've uncovered 10 incredible facts about Hawaii that they definitely don't teach in school. We'll start with number 10 and work our way up to the most shocking revelation at number 1. And trust me, that final story about those businessmen and Marines will change how you see Hawaii forever. If you're new here, welcome to the adventure. That subscribe button helps more than you know. Fact number 10. The Doomsday Seed Vault's predecessor. Long before Norway built that famous seed vault in the Arctic, Hawaii was already saving the world's plants. The Lion Arboretum at the University of Hawaii, established in 1918, contains the world's most comprehensive collection of native Hawaiian plants. We're talking over 5,000 tropical and subtropical plant species. Here's the part that got my attention. 200 of those species exist nowhere else on Earth. Nowhere. Dr. Harold Lyon saw what was happening to Hawaii's native plants after Western contact. Habitat destruction, invasive species taking over. So he created this 194-acre sanctuary in Manoa Valley. Think about that for a second. Without this place, 200 plant species would be completely extinct today. Fact number 9. The president born in Honolulu. Barack Obama holds a unique distinction in American history. He's the only United States president born outside the continental United States. Born at Kapiolani Maternity and Gynecological Hospital in Honolulu on August 4, 1961. His father, Barack Obama Sr. from Kenya. His mother, Stanley Ann Dunham from Kansas. Obama lived in Hawaii until age 6, then returned to live with his maternal grandparents from 1971 to 1979. He attended Punahou School, one of the most prestigious prep schools in the country. Here's what I find interesting. Growing up in Hawaii's multicultural environment shaped his worldview in ways that would later influence his presidency. The kid from Honolulu who became leader of the free world. Fact number 8. The Sugar Plantation Laboratory for Labor. Between 1852 and 1946, Hawaiian sugar plantations imported over 400,000 contract laborers. From China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Portugal, and Puerto Rico. The first group of 293 Chinese workers arrived on January 3, 1852, on the ship Thetis. They earned $3 per month plus room and board. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just about cheap labor. The Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association deliberately recruited from different countries to prevent any single ethnic group from gaining too much power. By 1920, pure native Hawaiians comprised only 16.3% of the island's population. Hawaii became America's first truly multicultural society through systematic labor migration. You can't make this stuff up. Fact number 7. The world's most isolated population center. Honolulu is the most isolated major city in the world. 2,390 miles from the nearest continental landmass. That's California. 3,850 miles from the nearest population center of similar size. That's Los Angeles. I had to read that twice. Think about that isolation. Before Western contact in 1778, Native Hawaiians had been isolated from other human populations for over 1,000 years. That's longer than most civilizations have existed. This extreme isolation created one of the most unique ecosystems and cultures in human history. The farm kid in me has to respect what they built in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Now things start getting really serious. Fact number 6. The leper colony that lasted 103 years. The Kalapapa settlement on Molokai operated as a mandatory isolation colony for leprosy patients starting in 1865. Hawaiian King Kamehameha V signed the act to prevent the spread of leprosy, leading to forced quarantine. Here's the part that's hard to hear. Patients were literally thrown overboard from ships and forced to swim to shore. Thousands of people, including children, were sent there against their will. Father Damien de Veuster became famous worldwide for his work there before dying of leprosy himself in 1889. This was one of the longest-running enforced medical quarantines in modern history. It lasted until 1968. Think about that. 103 years of forced isolation. We're halfway through, and honestly, the next 5 facts are going to blow your mind even more. Fact number 5. The Japanese attack beyond Pearl Harbor. December 7, 1941. Everyone knows about Pearl Harbor. But Japanese forces attacked civilian targets across Oahu that same day. Here's the story that amazed me. Japanese pilot Shigenori Nishikaichi crash-landed on Niihau Island and was killed by native Hawaiian Ben Kanahele after a 3-day standoff. This became known as the Niihau Incident. Japanese-American residents Yoshio and Irene Harada helped the downed pilot. Ben Kanahele, despite being shot 3 times, killed Nishikaichi with his bare hands on December 13th. This incident contributed to anti-Japanese sentiment and internment policies. One man's courage on a remote island changed the course of the war. Fact number 4. The secret World War II martial law. After Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was placed under martial law from December 7, 1941 to October 24, 1944. 1,021 days. That's the longest period of martial law in United States history. Military Governor Lieutenant General Delos Emmons controlled all aspects of civilian life. Censoring mail, controlling wages. Military courts tried over 22,000 civilians. Habeas corpus was suspended. Blackout curtains were mandatory everywhere. The military controlled everything from liquor sales to garbage collection. This lasted longer than martial law during the Civil War. Hawaii was basically a military dictatorship for almost 3 years, and most Americans had no idea. We're in the top 3 now, and it only gets better. Fact number 3. The Forbidden Island still off limits. Niihau Island was purchased by Elizabeth Sinclair from King Kamehameha V for $10,000 in gold in 1864. Here's where it gets wild. It remains privately owned by the Robinson family and is closed to outsiders. Only about 70 to 100 native Hawaiians live there, speaking Hawaiian as their primary language. Elizabeth Sinclair, a Scottish widow, chose Niihau over Waikiki when the king offered her land. Can you imagine that choice today? The Robinson family has maintained traditional Hawaiian lifestyle on the island for over 150 years. This is the last place where Hawaiian is spoken as a primary language in daily life. A living time capsule in the middle of the Pacific. Fact number 2. The only royal palace on American soil. Iolani Palace in Honolulu, completed around 1882, was the official residence of the Hawaiian Kingdom's last 2 monarchs, King Kalakaua and Queen Liliuokalani. But here's what blew my mind. The palace was equipped with electric lighting in 1887, several years before the White House received electricity in 1891. Think about that. A Pacific Island kingdom had electric lights before the President of the United States. The palace cost $343,595 to build. That's over $10 million in today's money. King Kalakaua spared no expense creating a palace that rivaled anything in Europe. This next fact changed how I see Hawaii forever. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Fact number 1. Hawaii's illegal overthrow by American businessmen. January 17, 1893. A group of 13 American and European businessmen calling themselves the Committee of Safety illegally overthrew Queen Liliuokalani. They had support from United States Minister John Stevens, who ordered 162 United States Marines to land in Honolulu. Here's what makes this incredible. The overthrow was later investigated by President Grover Cleveland, who concluded it was illegal and called for the Queen's restoration. The Blount Report of 1893 found that Minister Stevens had exceeded his authority and that most native Hawaiians opposed the overthrow. Cleveland tried to restore the monarchy, but Congress refused. So a sovereign kingdom was stolen by a handful of businessmen who wanted sugar profits. And it was completely illegal under both Hawaiian and American law. From the lion arboretum preserving plants that exist nowhere else to businessmen illegally overthrowing a sovereign kingdom, Hawaii has proven it's anything but the simple paradise we learned about in school. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that illegal overthrow. If you want to discover more hidden stories like these, subscribe and hit that bell. I release new adventures every week exploring America's forgotten history. Next time, we're heading to a state with an even wilder history. Trust me, fact number 3 on that list had me researching for hours. Out here in the Nevada desert, you get a lot of time to think about stories like these. And Hawaii's story? It deserves to be told. Thanks for joining me on another adventure. Until next time, keep exploring.